Welcome back, everybody, to Wisconsin Weather Experts. It is Thursday, May 15th. We are watching severe weather potential as the day goes on. So far, so good, but as we've been talking about for days, that's the story for later this afternoon.
Yeah, definitely a PM. This has been kind of a bookends of weather hazards kind of day, because we started off with a very different kind of weather hazard, one that can be equally problematic, which is incredibly thick fog. It was thicker this morning than it was yesterday morning. It's been kind of repetitive of late. One of the great viewers that we have out there sent us these fantastic drone shots from on top of the fog, because fog is just a cloud at the ground level. So you see it laying over the city there with the tops of the buildings coming up. You see the top, now watching that sunset there. This was a Wednesday sunset from, of course, Milwaukee. Big shout out to Stephen Hutton in Milwaukee for these great drone shots. My favorite is where you can see just the tiny tops of the U.S. Bank building, the Baird building there, some of the other downtown buildings just peeking up through that low cloud deck or that fog.
Just incredible, too, over the last couple of days to see it coming and going throughout our daytime hours. It's obviously very present overnight and during the morning, but even during the last couple of afternoons, it's come in and then it's gone back out with that lake breeze.
Exactly, and it's that cold lake water that kind of helps to thicken it up, because it drops the air temperatures to the dew points, and of course adds a little moisture too by being near the lake like that. In fact, I just wrote something up for our webpage if you want to read it all about fog and using Stephen's amazing pictures there as well. Check it out after the show at fox6now.com, or during the show. You can multitask. We'll allow it.
Reading, listening.
You need to be focused today. Probably have that screen handy that we were just talking about, because this is going to be a busy afternoon.
Yes, and this is one of the perfect opportunities we have being on Fox Local. Of course, right now, being able to tell you guys about the severe weather threat, but later today as the storms are rolling in, maybe you're not going to be at home. Maybe you're going to be out and about. Maybe kiddos have practice. I've already talked to a few parents who aren't going to be home during this time frame. If you have that Fox Local app on your phone and you can tell your friends, your family, I'm here to promote everybody, it really is a great tool, because you can open it up, and if there is severe weather, you will absolutely see us broadcasting and giving you all the information that you need. Also, if the power goes out, which is entirely a possibility as some of these storms roll through later on tonight, if your phone is still charged, you may still be able to see us. So again, Fox Local is a really, really important tool, and I think will come in handy, especially in situations like this going forward. Now, speaking of the fog, this is a view in Milwaukee right now. Once again, you can still see that little layer there, still cutting some of the tops of the buildings off in parts of Milwaukee. Most of the fog, just like the last couple of days, is going to remain lakeside, and it's going to go in and out, just like what we have seen, all because of that light lake breeze. But let's switch our main focus, because despite the lake breeze, we are still expecting severe weather, especially inland, but even lakeshore communities could see it. Now, here are your bullet points, and then we'll get into more detail. But once again, storms are expected to develop by early afternoon, maybe that 2 to 4 p.m. range, and maybe south central portions of Wisconsin. So expecting to develop pretty close to us, but likely just out towards the west. And between that developing very close to us and it being our peak daytime heating, that's why I think this threat is a little bit higher for especially south central and southeastern Wisconsin. Time frame for southeast Wisconsin specifically, about 4 to 8 p.m. Now, everyone across the state is going to see thunderstorm activity. We're going to really focus in on southeast Wisconsin for now, though. And all those threats, as we've been talking about for the last couple of days, still going to be a possibility. We're talking tornadoes, potentially even a strong tornado. Cannot completely rule that out. Large hail and some strong damaging winds. Some of those gusts could be over 70 miles per hour, especially if we do end up seeing that line setting up and moving through parts of the area. Now, so far, so good, though we are starting to see a little bit of cloud cover just out towards the west. You can see a narrow band of that. A warm front is just out towards the west, and you can see most of the thunderstorm activity near the area of low pressure itself. So still way out towards the west, but we do have to watch these frontal boundaries as they will continue to move through our area. Down towards the south, it is much warmer, and even out west, much warmer and much more humid. That environment is going to continue to move into our area. So lake breeze impacting Milwaukee right now, but Madison, it's 80. And look at some of these numbers: Chicago, Rockford, Dubuque, Iowa, even Waterloo. And then up towards the northwest, Eau Claire and La Crosse, everybody's already in the 80s. you're going to keep climbing today. So it really is going to be warm and very muggy. Look at some of these dew points too, middle and upper 60s already. In fact, pushing 70 near Dubuque, Iowa. So we'll have the heat, we'll have the moisture, we'll have the lift from the cold front. It's clearly going to be very unstable, all favorable ingredients for some stronger thunderstorms. I still think we're good for now, but these storms could develop very quickly, once again, just out towards the west of us. Now, this is right around 5 o'clock. It's likely going to be a little bit earlier, but notice how this line really comes together out west and then continues through the rest of the evening through about 8 or 9 o'clock to push through the rest of eastern Wisconsin. And you'll notice again, as far as the rest of the state goes, it does continue to push through Green Bay and even up across far northern Wisconsin. In fact, northern Wisconsin, these storms will end a little bit later for you guys, potentially closer to about midnight, whereas those of us in southern parts of the state, it's going to end by around 9 o'clock. In fact, again, as we get to midnight, most of those have then lifted up towards the north. So this is technically a statewide threat here. Just keep that in mind if you have any loved ones outside of Milwaukee, even up towards the north. No changes to our outlook from the Storm Prediction Center. We are all still in orange, that level 3 enhanced risk, meaning numerous severe thunderstorms looking pretty likely at this point. And no change to our tornado threat either. We still have those hash marks in this yellow area, which does still include southeast Wisconsin. And that just means that we cannot rule out a strong tornado. So all those threats we really got to take seriously as the day goes on. Also have hatch marks when it comes to hail. We're going to have some cooler temperatures at some of our higher levels here. So I do think hail is going to be a big threat as this thunderstorm activity makes its way on through. And even some larger hail, not out of the question either. And of course, the wind threat is there, as it always is when we have a line of thunderstorms pushing through. One last note for you. I just want to talk about the lake breeze pretty quickly here. It's going to stay with us all day long, especially immediately near Lake Michigan. I know there's a common misconception that near the lake, tornadoes aren't a possibility. Just let me play out this scenario for you here. If we see these storms, very strong, warned out towards the west, continue to move eastward and still interact with the lake breeze itself, remember, a lake breeze is still a boundary, almost like a mini cold front, meaning it has its own spin to it. So it's still entirely possible that even though it's passing by the lakefront, or passing by the lake breeze, I should say, that we see a brief spin up or a weak tornado, even in, say, western Milwaukee County. So that's why the threat is technically still for everyone. Yes, it's not going to be as common immediately near the lakeshore because that's where some of the cooler air will be. But I do think we're going to need to watch wherever that lake breeze, has set up, because as you know, Rob, very well, we could still see spin within that. We've seen lake breezes spin their own storms from time to time.
Yeah,
so everybody on severe threat.
Like you said, they act as their own cold front. The advancing system is actually a warm front, so now you've got a warm front at the big level, the synoptic level, and you've got a cold front at the micro level. That combination itself could create its own little pop-ups or rotation, as you were saying.
Yes.
So yeah, really good point with that lake breeze today, because like you said, the common misconception is, oh, the lake will save me. We get tons of emails like that. It'll be fine by the lake. Well, let me tell you, we've had tornadoes in every month of the year. We've also had tornadoes in every county in Wisconsin.
Yes.
So the lake does help, but it isn't 100% protection.
Yeah.
The only thing that is knowing where to be when things hit. So definitely stay tuned today, because as Stephanie was just pointing out, that lake breeze could actually work against you in a way. Now, we're happy to not be dealing with a lot of the other things that are going on in the country.
Yes.
We took you to Maryland yesterday to look at some of the storm video there. This is once again a cleanup that's now underway. Widespread flooding over in Allegheny County, Maryland. Floodwaters surrounding some of the elementary schools there. Nearly 200 students and adults had to be evacuated. This school, they had to get them out of there in boats because of the high water. The area around the schools looks like kind of a pond or a lake around the school. You can see cars stuck in the high water. You got roads thick of mud. Look at that. Oh, trying to drive in that, can you even imagine? Emily Lewis is a parent at the, and she's the cafeteria manager at the school. She was in the building as the waters started to rise. As scary as that, she said she and her other staff did their best, the best they could, to keep the kids calm.
I feel like I'm numb. Like, there's just so much emotion, and I mean, cars sitting in there, but I'm glad that we were able to get out safely. The kids are out, and we came together as a team to make sure that happened. Well, I mean, obviously, when you're looking out the window and knowing that water's coming, cars are floating, there's people getting stranded, it was hard to stay calm yourself. But when you have kids screaming and crying, you know, and they're somebody else's kids, but they're our kids too. So you just had to try to keep them calm as best as we could.
Yeah, wow, amazing job on her part, like she said, keeping those kids calm. Somewhere between 2 and 5 inches fell in just a couple of hours. I can't even imagine how scary that was for her, for the staff, the teachers, the kids. So kudos to them for doing their best to get everybody safely out of there as the waters continue to rise.
Absolutely, and that was from that storm system too that just kind of sat in that area over the last couple of days. So there were a lot of spots around the East Coast that dealt with some really heavy rain and flooding as well. So a very widespread area, unfortunately.
Flooding won't be one of the big issues for tonight. And
that's true.
Part of that is because how quickly this is going to move. Doesn't mean we won't get heavy rain. It just means the flooding threat is a little bit lower. Right now, of course, we're just keeping our eyes on the skies, and we're using one of our newest pieces of technology to do it. Yes, indeed. Does it have an official name yet, Steph? Because I've been pitching names.
Whoa, what names? I'd like to know.
I was saying maybe we just call it the Weather Truck 6000, Weather Machine, the Weathernator. I mean, we've got to get the weather folks involved somehow.
It's a good thing we have an Instapoll. We should probably utilize it.
Somewhere in that very expensive high-tech truck is the man who got it all put together going, stop making up crazy names. We'll check in with Kale and get an update on the advancing storms from that amazing piece of tech in just a bit.
Welcome back, everybody. Well, from outer space back down to Earth, and more specifically to our water system. Meteorologist Holly Baker had the opportunity to talk with someone about how Wisconsin ranks when it comes to water efficiency. Check it out.
Well, hello, everyone. We have Ramon Van Meer here, and he is the founder of Athena, and he's going to talk to us about water efficiency. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
All right. Yeah, we're so excited. So what exactly is water efficiency?
Yeah, water efficiency is per state. There are different rules and regulations to make sure that we don't consume and use too much water. Because believe it or not, there's going to be a time where water is going to be more precious than gold because it runs out eventually. So every country, every state, we have to do our best to make sure we conserve tap water and drinking water as much as possible.
Okay, so Wisconsin is ranking #1 in this water efficiency?
Yes, yeah, congratulations everyone in Wisconsin. You guys are ranked #1. We looked at different things. We looked at the water withdrawal per person per day, so how much people are using every single day. Then we looked at the water efficiency policies. Every state have different policies, and Wisconsin is doing a really good job of implementing the policies. And then we also looked at the average monthly water costs. And Wisconsin is it's a very affordable water bill compared to other states.
Right. That surprises me. That really does. So that's awesome. I'm actually happy to be living in Wisconsin and knowing that we're at the top. So what is that? Who is the last state, or which state is last on the list?
Last on the list is actually Utah. They use the most water per day. And then Hawaii is the second to last. Yeah, that's probably also because of there's so much green and golf courses maybe, where they have to water so much.
Okay, so could you tell me what you're looking at to see how Wisconsin is different from other places? Like, what exactly are we doing to be number one versus some of the other states that are below us?
Yeah, good question. So Wisconsin, there's a pact for the Great Lakes Water Resources Compact, the legal binding agreement with 8 states that all manage and protect the Great Lakes water resources. So that's a really good effort of Wisconsin. The second thing that Wisconsin is doing really well, there's a very strict tiered water conservation requirement. And another thing that I noticed that Wisconsin is doing much better than other states, their different agencies talk much better to each other. So if there's a water leakage on the streets, Wisconsin, the communication between different agencies is so much more efficient so that they can stop the water leak right away. Versus other states, agencies do not talk to each other, so there's a lot of water waste happening. And then also on top of that, there's a lot of education happening in Wisconsin of like, why is it important to conserve water and promote the tiered system as well.
Okay, so the actual cause of your water efficiency levels being low would be like the waste of water, or like, let's say like there's a flood and it's not necessarily cleaned up. Does that actually play a role in it as well?
Yeah, or if there's water leakages, because that's water waste is a huge factor. If there's no restrictions or no tiers that anyone can just water all their green front lawns every single day, or if there's no tier system that anyone can use whatever they want. And then also education of like trying to educate why is it important we should conserve water, not just today, but also for our future, for our kids, to make sure that we still have clean water for the time coming.
Okay. And here's my last question. So what would we need to do to maintain, one, being at the top, and two, to maintain our actual water efficiency levels so that they stay at least where they are or even improving to be even better? So what will we need to do to maintain that?
Yeah, hopefully the policymakers will not change too much on the regulations because of the regulations that we have right now, especially with the Great Lakes Compact. That is a big factor why you guys are, ranking number one. And everyone just keep doing a good job as you guys are doing now with conserving water, not wasting too much water every day.
Right. Okay. Well, that all sounds good. And I'm actually really, really excited that we're number one and we're providing these people with ways and awareness to kind of keep us there as far as our water efficiency levels. And that makes it at least cheaper for us as well in the long run with the water waste. But we would like to thank you for being on this call today to talk to us about water efficiency, and yoo-hoo to Wisconsin being number one.
Congrats. Keep it going.
Wow, number one. I too am surprised.
Yeah, I'm very surprised because I think the thing that got me was when he said that we have the cheapest water bills here.
Yeah.
Being number one means we use less water, meaning our bills are typically like lesser than everyone else's. So that's what really took me by surprise.
Yeah. Wow, fascinating stuff.
I know, and even more fascinating stuff. We have to let Tom take it away with our new little gadget that we have. Well, don't even need to say little. It's a big gadget. We have a storm truck, or a news truck now. It's a new addition to the team. So we're going to let Tom take that away and explain all the cool things.
Check this out. This is our latest tool in our FOX6 toolbox to bring you the very latest weather and news information from all across southeastern Wisconsin. This has all of the latest gadgets and technology to keep you informed. Let's take a look inside. We have multiple cameras in the truck. This camera is looking back towards the passenger, be it the reporter or meteorologist, but check this out. We can look out the windshield as well to see, of course, where we're driving into, but we have multiple cameras here. Take a look at this. You might be thinking, why am I looking at a tire? Why do we have a camera mounted down by the tire? Well, think about winter weather, right? And road conditions. This is really going to come in handy when we're talking about winter road conditions. But now let me take you up top here. This is awesome. This is our 360 camera, and you can see how we can move it around, and look at the zoom on this thing as we zoom into some of these clouds. Absolutely beautiful. So as we are tracking storms, for example, we are able to pan, tilt, and zoom on this camera as well along the rooftop. So multiple cameras, multiple angles in the truck. In addition, we have a weather station mounted on the roof, so we can get real-time weather information as to what's going on. Let's say we're right out ahead of a cold front. We're able to see what the temperature is, what the winds are doing, the wind direction, the dew point, and so on. So we're able to see that not only in spring and summertime weather in the warmer months, but also in the wintertime where temperatures are critical, right? But guess what? It's not only the temperature that's at rooftop level, right, of the truck. We need to know what's going on the road surface. And we also have a road temperature gauge where we are able to see the road temperatures, which can be critical for icing events. This is top of the line technology, and you might see it out on the roadways across the area as we're monitoring weather and monitoring conditions all across southeastern Wisconsin. Reporting from our new high-tech truck, I'm Chief Meteorologist Tom Walks.
So we're thankful to have this, and we're actually going to utilize this today. Now, earlier in the show, before the last, or during the last break, I should say, we showed you a picture of our chief, here you go, photojournalist, Cale Zimney, who is manning the truck right now. He is actually going to be out and about this afternoon in anticipation and out ahead of some of the severe weather that we have today. So going to be kind of our eyes to the skies, basically, as he is driving around. So this is him driving right now. Once again, really, really happy and privileged to have this tool at our hands here at Fox 6. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Wisconsin Weather Experts. Now, we've talked about a lot of stuff today. A lot is going to transpire this afternoon and really up until the weekend. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask, even if it's after the storms and after they roll through the area. If you want to know why something has happened or why something didn't happen, feel free to scan that QR code and ask us some questions, and we will get those answered for you.
All right, and normally the last story of the show we call a kicker in news, right? But we're going to call this one a ticker, and that's because May, among many other things, is Lyme Disease Awareness Month. There's video of those little suckers. We know they are just so pesky, right? Lyme disease is typically spread through black-legged tick bites, and as summer approaches, it's more important than ever to keep an eye out for these little critters. So doctors with the Cleveland Clinic say when it comes to checking for ticks, you should check every part of your body, including your head, but ticks are typically drawn to moist, warm areas, so checking under your arms, the back of your knees, very important. Doctors say if you do find a tick, it's best to remove it with tweezers and get it as close to the skin as possible. Make sure no part of the tick is left behind, and of course, make sure to check your pets too. To prevent bacterial infections, you of course should wash the area too with warm soap and water. So ways to stay safe heading into our summer months when those ticks are always around. Live look outside right now. Once again, Kale Zimney in our Fox 6 live truck right now. Please stay weather aware this afternoon, 4 to 8 p.m. We will be here if you need us, but severe weather remains a big possibility. Have a good day.